Good evening. Welcome to the regular meeting of the Putnam County Legislature of April 4th, 2023. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and remain standing for the legislative prayer, please. I call on Legislator Sage for the pledge.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Legislator Nasarino for the prayer.
We gather here today intent on doing good work. We seek to represent fairly and well those who have given us this task. May our efforts be blessed with insight, guided by understanding and wisdom. We seek to serve with respect for all. May our personal faiths give us strength to act honestly and well in all matters before us. Amen.
Amen. Call on the clerk of the legislature for roll call, please.
District 1, Legislator Montgomery.
Present.
District 2, Legislator Goldman.
Present.
District 3, Legislator Anizio. Present. District 4, Legislator Nasarino.
Present.
District 5, Legislator Elmer. District 7, Legislator Castellano.
Present.
District 8, Legislator Sage.
Present.
District 9, Legislator Crowley.
Present.
District 6, Chairman Young.
Present. Good evening, everyone. Tonight we have a number of proclamations. I will start off tonight with Alcohol Awareness Month. We have our Commissioner of Department of Social Service, as well as Sarah Servadio. Welcome.
Hi. How are you? Good, thank you.
Whereas alcohol is the most commonly used addictive substance in the United States, 1 in every 12 adults, or 17.6 million people suffer from alcohol use disorder. Whereas tragic health, social, and economic problems result from the use of alcohol by youth, underage drinking is a casual factor in a host of serious problems, including traumatic injury, violent and property crime, high-risk sex, fetal alcohol syndrome, alcohol poisoning, and the need for treatment for alcohol use disorder. Resolved that the Putnam County Executive and the Putnam County Legislature do hereby proclaim April 2023 as Alcohol Awareness Month, and along with the Putnam Communities That Care Coalition and all prevention, treatment, and recovery providers in Putnam County, encourage all residents to increase their awareness of alcohol use disorders, the dangers associated with underage drinking, the success of prevention and treatment programs, especially for our youth, and to support and encourage referrals for treatment of individuals when an alcohol use disorder is suspected or present.
Thank you.
Mike.
Thanks. Kristen, on behalf of Sarah, Kristen McConnell was to receive the proclamation tonight, and she's ill, so she asked me just to say a few words to accept it on her behalf. Thank you to the Putnam County Legislature and the Putnam County Executive for recognizing April as Alcohol Awareness Month and Healthy Teen Brain Day. Since we are at the start of spring break in Putnam County, this could not be a more perfect time to raise awareness about underage drinking and Healthy Teen Brain Day. Alcohol use among youth continues to be the most prevalent in Putnam County, and it is crucial that we educate parents and young people about the dangers associated with underage drinking and its negative effects on the developing brain. Thank you very much.
Thank you for all your good work, Mike. Sarah, thank you.
Thanks.
I call on Legislator Crowley for Child Abuse Prevention Month.
Back.
That's a good thing, right? So I welcome Michael Piazza, our health commissioner, or commissioner of DSS, for Sarah Savito, Marla Baylor, Marissa Henderson, and Frank Morocco, Sheriff McConville. Whereas a majority of child abuse cases stem from situations and conditions that are preventable in an engaged and supportive community, and whereas effective child abuse prevention programs ensure the health of children and families, allowing children to grow into adults who prosper and contribute to society. Resolved that the Putnam County Executive and the Putnam County Legislature do hereby proclaim April 2023 as Child Abuse Prevention Month in Putnam County and call upon all citizens to increase their efforts to support families, thereby preventing abuse and strengthening the communities in which we live. Thank you so much for everything you all do.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I just wanted to say the child abuse caseworkers, child abuse prevention, the CPS, the Child Protective Services, my job is hard talking English. The Child Protective Services caseworkers have a very, very difficult job. Just today I got an email from a fellow commissioner saying we really can't keep them on the job. They come in, they go for training, and then they leave. And we've been pretty, in Putnam we've been able to maintain a pretty good, for a long period of time without too much turnover. But even some of the most lengthy CPS workers talk about burnout and how difficult it is to stay. And so what I really wanted to say is to talk about the support that Sarah, who did not come up, she's over there, but Sarah and Frank and Marla give to the caseworkers every day in terms of listening to them and to hearing out what their issues are. And the support of the sheriff who goes out with us, the deputies that come out with us on almost every call is so important. And Marissa, I wanted to, a special thanks to Marissa, who put together the pinwheels for Child Abuse Prevention Month and all that she did. So I want to thank you for that very much. But, so what the point is that the CPS caseworkers rely on that support. And this proclamation is a validation that you support them as well. And it's really very important to them. So thank you very much.
We're so thankful for you.
This is Developmental Disability and Autism Awareness Month. I have Louise, Brandon, Jennifer, David, Jennifer, Zach, Harple, and Jason.
How are you? Good. Thanks for coming. Thank you. Thank you.
Can everybody just introduce themselves?
I'm Zach Isidore, Archimate Hudson.
I'm Dave Zoller, Archimate Hudson.
Jennifer Beiswinger, Archimate Hudson.
I'm Harpal Arora, Archimate Hudson.
My name is Jason McDonough. I'm 20.
Louise Ream, Archimate Hudson.
Hello, everybody. My name is Brandon Gilsonen, and I also work for the ARC Mid-Hudson.
Whereas the ARC Mid-Hudson is an integral part of our community, serving both as a business and as a human resource agency with a mission to empower people with intellectual and other developmental disabilities to achieve and experience the highest quality of life. And for over 65 years, the ARC Mid-Hudson has been the leading provider of services in Putnam County for children and adults with intellectual and developmental disabilities from birth through advanced stage. Resolved that the Putnam County Executive and Putnam County Legislature do hereby proclaim April 2023 as Developmental Disabilities Awareness Month and Autism Awareness Month, and recognize and commend the ARC Mid-Hudson for the valuable services this agency provides to people with disabilities, their families, and the business community. This proclamation is meaningful to me. Those who know me know that I have a daughter with autism, and it's something that we deal with daily. And I'm proud that this legislature supports all of you in the good work that you do. And we're grateful that you're here tonight, and I'm happy to hand you the proclamation, and it's with our full support.
Thank you.
Would anybody like to?
Yes. On behalf of John McHugh, who is our Chief Executive Officer in the ARC-Mid-Hudson. I'd just like to thank you for this proclamation and for recognizing developmental disabilities and autism and the need for greater awareness. ARC-Mid-Hudson, which was formerly ARC-Putnam, serves all of Putnam County. We serve approximately 360 people throughout the county, and we're just proud and honored to be partners with Putnam County and with other local providers in providing supports throughout the county. Thank you.
Anyone else?
I think for we did a wonderful thing because I did so advocate, and I want to change.
That's great.
You want to say that one more time?
I'm thankful for to be in ARC-Mid-Hudson, which helps me grow.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Next, I call on Legislator Goldman for Donate Life Fund.
This is County Clerk Mike Bartolotti. April is Donate Life Month. In New York State, there are approximately 8,100 people waiting for organ transplants, which represents the third highest in the United States. And there's an estimated 400 New Yorkers who die each year while waiting for an organ transplant. So we all know there's a need here. A single individual's donation can save up to 8 lives, and a donation of tissue can save up to 75 other individuals. 54.5% of Putnam County residents are registered donors. 46.44% of adults in New York State are registered donors, and the national average is 60%. We're a little low, hopefully we get up. A few years ago, we were much less than that. The Putnam County Executive and the Putnam County Legislature hereby proclaim the month of April as Donate Life Month. Let's all promote the awareness and the need for organ and tissue transplant right here in Putnam Valley. Thank you.
Say a few words.
Let's say a few words.
Absolutely. So thank you all. Thank you to all of you on the legislature. Thank you to County Executive Byrne for the proclamation and the support. It's always of the utmost importance to get the support in Donate Life Month and throughout the year. Those numbers that Legislator Goldman just stated are accurate numbers. We've come a long way since in my tenure as county clerk. The numbers were much lower through advocacy, through planning, through events. We've gotten those numbers higher through the swag, like the pins, which I gave to all the legislators tonight from Donate Life New York. Please wear those with pride throughout the year, not only in April. But you know, the thing that really got me going with organ donation, we promote it all year round at DMV. We promote it during all of our naturalization ceremonies, which we have 6 times a year at least in Putnam County. You never know until you see a face, until you see a person. And I'll tell you a quick story. On Monday, we were at DMV. We had our Donate Life Month kickoff. We had our Donate Life tie-dye shirts on and all that good stuff. And I was coming back to the office, and I was walking down the hallway into my office, and I had a customer at the counter who said, "Hey, look, it's Donate Life." And I said, "Yes, it's Donate Life Month. It's really important." She says, "You have no idea how important it is." I said, "Oh, I think I do." She goes, "No, you don't. I'm a 2-time organ recipient, and I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for somebody who donated to me twice." And if that doesn't make you stop, the first time I heard a story of that nature, the very next day, I was at DMV registering as an organ donor. So please, please, if you need information, go to Donate Life New York. Look at the facts. Look at how it goes. If you're not an organ donor, please consider becoming one. Thank you very much.
Healthy Teen Brain Day. Legislator Crowley.
I'm honored to be able to read this and give this to both of you. I have a 15-year-old who has had and been through a lot, and this is very important to me, and I thank you for all the work that you do. So whereas our youth are our greatest joy and our hope for the future, it's necessary for us to support them in making safe and healthy decisions while creating a supportive environment that safeguards their future. And many of our youth are making very healthy and safe decisions to remain marijuana-free and providing leadership in their schools and communities to help the other youth remain marijuana-free. Resolved today that the Putnam County Executive and Putnam County Legislature do hereby proclaim April 20th, 2023 to be Healthy Teen Brain Day in Putnam County and proudly join my fellow residents in marking this very special occasion.
Thank you.
I appreciate it very much and helping our teens with mental health as we are trying to fight from survival with these kids and making them the best people that they can be.
Thanks very much. I mean, it's our goal for people to be drug-free, kids to be happy, and grow healthy lives. And this is really important, so thank you very much.
You're truly incredible people for all you do.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Next, I call on Legislator Nasarino for Keep Putnam Beautiful.
Hi. I have you here with me, Tracy Walsh, Director of Tourism. Whereas Putnam County is one of the most unique counties in New York State as it is located in close proximity to large cities, but remains a quiet historical community where many natural and historic sites can be enjoyed. Whereas acknowledging the bucolic nature of Putnam County and the importance of preserving it, the County of Putnam established Keep Putnam Beautiful program in 2005. Led by Program Coordinator Walt Thompson, Keep Putnam Beautiful utilized an education and community volunteerism approach to work toward their goal of not only preserving the environment, but enhancing it along the way. The collaborative effort was set forth and involved the towns and villages within the county to achieve a common goal. In 2020, I recognized that the need to maintain and even improve the environment in Putnam County is ever present, and thereby launched a campaign with the help of Tracy Walsh and others to reintroduce the Keep Putnam Beautiful slogan and to reestablish community awareness. Putnam County joins in the effort with towns, villages, and individual communities with the same spirit and concerted effort as the original program. A renewed pride will be instilled in our county, and Putnam will remain the idyllic home and destination it is and has always been. Now therefore be it resolved that the Putnam County Executive and Putnam County Legislature hereby proclaim April as Keep Putnam Beautiful Month and encourage all residents to remain cognizant of their impact on the environment. Thank you. Would you like to say
Just a few words. So this is where we can highlight all the good things that we do. And if you are, I've been reaching out to the towns and to community groups, and I love to use the Facebook page to point out people doing the right thing out there cleaning up. So if you happen to be part of a group that's cleaning up or know of a group, please tag Putnam Tourism, because we like to give a shout out to the scouts and the volunteer groups and anybody that takes the time to go out there. And you know, we all need a spring cleanup, right? And even the roads. And we hate litter. We wish it wasn't there, but we can do our part to clean it up. So thank you. Thank you.
And as the tulips bloom and the daffodils bloom and the crocuses bloom, we also take notice of the litter along the byways and highways. But not only that, each individual can do their part on their own street or wherever, just to help keep Putnam beautiful. And that's our goal, to maintain that mindset and community awareness throughout the county. Thank you. Thank you for coming.
Next, I recognize Legislator Addonizio for National Library Week.
Okay. Wow, we have a big crowd for the library. We have a big crowd. This is good. I like this. This is good. Wow. Can we all fit up here? Making room for us. Okay. So we have all the libraries represented, I think, here this evening, right? Yes. I recognize a lot of people, yes. So National Library Week is April 23rd to 29th. Libraries are the hearts and hubs of their communities, providing essential and valued resources, collections, and programs for all ages and demographics. Libraries are continually evolving to meet the needs of their communities by offering traditional services and new technologies. Libraries worked during the pandemic to provide both new and traditional services in ways which were safe for their communities. Libraries provide internet access, technology training, access to downloadable contents like ebooks, downloadable audiobooks, and magazines, job-seeking resources, homework help, story times, literacy training, and summer reading programs. Be it resolved that the Putnam County Executive and the Putnam County Legislature do hereby proclaim the week of April 23rd to 29th as National Library Week. We encourage all county residents to use their local libraries, either in person or online, to take advantage of the wealth of library resources that our libraries provide. I understand that there has been a cut from New York State for the libraries, and I'm going to be asking the libraries to come and speak at my next meeting in April to discuss the cuts, and we're going to hopefully send a proclamation and implore the governor to reinstate what they're cutting. And I know that in Kent, we did a program during COVID for people in need with food, and they came every day, and they had, I don't know if any of the other libraries did that. Pat, you did? Okay, so if anybody would like to speak?
Yeah, I would love to. Thank you. I'm Terry Raskin with the Putnam Valley Library, and thank you so much. This means a whole lot to us. We're all part of the incredibly wonderful 66-member library, the Mid-Hudson Library System. Without them, they provide the backbone for us. They are just incredible. They make a lot of the lending available. You know, the most of us, if not all of us, for example, have gone fine-free. We lend all kinds of things, including things. Everybody has a library of things. We have fishing equipment, and we're about to start seeds. I don't think we will lend them. We will give them to you, and maybe you give. And we ask that you give us back seeds once they sprout. We all need your supports. Libraries and schools are the backbone of our communities, and we need. You know, now that there may be, I think they're still arguing the budget up in Albany. I know we've talked to our legislators. We hope that these things will be reinstated, but we need everybody's help to help us sustain our budgets. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'd like to add, the Mahopac Public Library has been designated by this county as a heating and cooling center during emergencies. And it is critical that this legislature support the Mahopac Public Library because we are seeking funds to have a generator installed so that the building will operate 24/7 during these emergencies. We did make an application for that, and we are hopeful that the county executive and the legislature will review again our request. Thank you.
We'll figure it out.
Okay, very good. Thank you all. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
There we go. That's exactly what I was thinking.
Thanks very much.
Yes,
Thank you.
I recognize Legislator Sage for Peers Influence Peers Partnership Month.
Okay, good evening. Do we have Stephen Vecchio here? Well, Stephen Vecchio is the board chairman for Peers Influencing Peers, which is a program that's run throughout Putnam County. The use of alcohol and illegal drugs cause serious health and social and educational problems for our young people, and 1 in 4 of our high school girls suffer from an abusive relationship before they graduate. The recent upturns in drug and alcohol use, as documented in state and national surveys, show that we must target effective preventive strategies and key population groups such as middle schoolers and high schoolers. The Peers Influence Peers Partnership has demonstrated a great deal of initiative and sophistication in developing proactive media messaging against dating and domestic violence, as well as alcohol and other drug use. That work, which has aired through many numerous schools, cable TV systems throughout our county and state, has won praise from many authorities. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Putnam County Executive and Putnam County Legislature do hereby recognize April 2023 as Peers Influence Peers Partnership, and hope that this declaration and a joint effort of all agencies and authorities to encourage young people to help others by encouraging them. I'm sorry that Mr. Vecchio can't be here this evening. I've met the founder of Peers Influencing Peers. They develop plays and media devices and TV shows and plays that are run by students, directed by students, acted in by students, and they talk about these tough issues like drinking and driving, rape, domestic violence, things that might affect students at a young age. And it gets them involved, and they're acting it out, and they're producing the DVDs for other kids in high school. It's a fantastic program. It's a wonderful not-for-profit. It deserves the recognition that we're getting, and it deserves the support from the Putnam County Legislature and the County Executive, and I just want to say a few things about that wonderful program. Thank you.
I recognize Legislator Montgomery for Teen Driver Safety Awareness Month.
Sheriff. And Judy, is Judy here tonight?
No, she couldn't.
Sheriff McConville, thank you for this, and Secretary of the Traffic Safety Board is Judy Mira, who does extensive work on programs for teen driver safety. And Putnam County does declare April as Teen Driver Safety Awareness Month. It is the greatest danger to our youth in Putnam. It is one of the greatest dangers, let's face it, to our youth in Putnam County and throughout our country. Dangers posed by traffic crashes. Teens comprise 11% of the injury related to automobile crashes. All accidents are preventable, and crash rates can be lowered through the use of education, which the Traffic Safety Board and the Sheriff provides, and also the Boy Scouts, the Girl Scouts, Junior RTC program, Civil Air Patrol, and the Putnam County Sheriff's Cadet Program, to name a few. These programs work best when there is a period set aside for local government. That's us and our local town government. And I'm really happy that I can announce that we have this new program in Phillipstown in partnership with the Putnam County Youth Bureau. Is a new traffic court for the youth, run by the youth. So it's also really great when the peers are holding each other accountable, and we have this new court system on the other side of the county now, and I'm really happy and I'm so pleased that we've done that through the Youth Bureau and the legislature. So we recognize that all levels of government, our schools, law enforcement, our churches and synagogues, and the citizens of Putnam County support programs that promote teen driver safety awareness. And we protect one of our most precious resources, our children and our grandchildren. Thank you, Sheriff, for all your work.
I appreciate that. Thank you, legislator. I thank the county exec and the members of the legislature itself. One of the most important things is teaching teens to drive responsibly. What you've seen here tonight is the collaboration through all these proclamations of the different departments and organizations in Putnam County that work together to keep us all safe and secure. So thank you very much.
Thank you. You've survived the teen driving. Good for you.
I recognize Legislator Castellano for National Telecommunicators Week.
Thank you. If I can have Commissioner Bob Lipton's here from Bureau of Emergency Services. Thanks for coming out tonight. So we have a proclamation in front of us tonight for April 9th through April 15th, 2023 as National Telecommunicators Week. Whereas the Putnam County 911 Center answers 114,426 calls for help and dispatch fire, EMS, and police agencies 12,963 times during the year of 2022. Whereas emergencies can occur at any time and require police, fire, and emergency medical services. Just to go a little bit off script tonight, I drive every day 30 miles to work and back. And tonight, when I was driving back from 684 as I was heading up here, I saw a police vehicle immediately, cutting over to the side where there was a car in distress. And I was watching as I passed on the traffic. Of course, there's plenty of emergency people there. There was a gentleman giving CPR frantically, and two people standing over him with their cell phones in hand, I'm sure speaking to a 911 person, dispatcher. It was shaking. It was just crazy to watch that happening. It was such, I'm hoping this gentleman survives. It was a very scary situation, but I was thankful for the 911 thing. Every time I drive down 684, I think of the benefit of having the ability to call 911 in case of any emergency. So again, I'd just like to thank all the hard work that goes into doing that job and the stressful situations that it would be, and I thank everyone for that service. Resolved that the Putnam County Executive and the Putnam County Legislature do hereby proclaim the week of April 9th through April 15th, 2023 to be National Telecommunicators Week in Putnam County in honor of the men and women who diligently and professionally keep our county and citizens safe. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Joe. I'd just like to thank you and the rest of the Ledge and the county executive for recognizing the dispatch center each and every year for the fine work that they do. They're highly dedicated, highly skilled, highly trained men and women that serve 24/7. And yes, when you pick up the phone here in Putnam County and dial 911, you are talking to one of those individuals. And thank goodness we do have them. They're a great team, and they work hard to serve the community. So thank you.
Thanks very much. Appreciate it.
Item number 4 is the acceptance of minutes for the regular meeting of March 7th, 2023, and also the special meeting, which was the State of the County, March 9th, 2023. Item number 5 is correspondence with the county auditor. There's no report this month. Item 6 is pre-filed resolutions. I recognize Chairwoman Sage from the Health, Social, Educational, and Environmental Committee.
Thank you, Chairman Yonke. On behalf of Legislators Crowley and Nazarena, I would like to bring forward item number 6A, which is an approval for budgetary amendment 23A009 from Social Services for opioid settlement monies. The Prevention Council of Putnam County was actively participating in discussions with local government regarding the opioid settlement funds. The Commissioner of Social Services has requested a budgetary amendment to utilize $85,000 of the opioid settlement trust fund monies to fund the agency's evidence-based programs and strategies for preventing opioid misuse, opioid overdose, and connecting individuals to care and harm reduction services to abate the opioid epidemic here in Putnam County. It's in the amount of $85,000, and there is no fiscal impact.
Discussion.
Just like to make a comment, please.
Yes.
Thank you. I spoke to Kristen McConnell throughout the year. This is for a position that they currently have that was funded by a grant that they weren't sure if they were going to continue to get. And I know Kristen and the Prevention Council were very worried that they wouldn't be able to keep this person. So I'm so happy that the Prevention Council will continue to do their work with this staff member, and they do such important work. Thank you.
Anyone else? All in favor?
Aye. Thank you. Moving on to item 6B is a request for an approval that Putnam County's Congressional Delegation act to ensure the safe handling of wastewater from Indian Point Energy Center. The Hudson River is an invaluable resource providing seafood, transportation, tourism, recreational activities for the residents of Putnam County as well as for many others beyond our county, some of whom use it as a source of potable water. Holtec International has announced plans to release wastewater containing radioactive tritium into the Hudson River later this year as part of their decommissioning of nuclear plants at the Indian Power Energy Center. Therefore, it is incumbent upon the federal government, the NRC, the EPA, to ensure that this water, any release of water from this plant into the Hudson River, that it must not be permitted if it causes any detrimental environmental impact to the Hudson River, and must not compromise the health or safety of those who use the Hudson River. We're calling on our delegation to the United States Senate, the United States House of Representatives, to obtain assurances from the federal regulatory agencies that they will not permit any discharge of wastewater from Indian Point that will cause any environmental harm or pose a threat to Putnam County residents.
Discussion.
Any comment?
Yes.
Well, I will be supporting this resolution. I feel very strongly that it does not do enough to ask the federal government to prevent Holtec from discharging this radioactive poison into our water. We're at the start of our recreational season in my district. That's going to have a significant economic impact. The notion that we're going to just put all of our trust in the NRC and the federal government and we have no control over it and we put all our faith in that, to me, this is what I've heard from my colleagues, doesn't fly, because we've sent resolutions on other things as an academic exercise throughout the years. So I don't understand why we can't be sending one that strongly states, do not discharge this water. And I was hoping that we could support the legislation proposed by Dana Levenberg and Senator Harcum that clearly states this. My colleagues and I have received numerous emails from constituents who were really begging us to make a stronger statement. We received notification of resolutions passed by other counties that are much stronger than the one on the agenda tonight. So I will continue to request that we pass a stronger resolution, but in the meantime, I guess this is all we have, and I'll be supporting it.
Legislative.
Thank you, Chairman. I'm glad that we're doing something with this, but this resolution doesn't go far enough. We are requesting Congress to gather assurances that everything will be safe. Well, we've all heard time and time again that the federal government gives assurances that turns out not to be true. The train derailment in Ohio on February 3rd. The residents in East Palestine, Ohio, still don't know if their water is safe to drink. They're being told every day everything's okay, but animals and livestock are dying in that community. 9/11, a tragic time in our history. We were told that everything was safe with the air that you breathe if you go down there. People today are still coming down with cancers and other diseases for just being down there. For Michigan, I can go on forever, but we don't have that much time. All I'm asking is that the federal government review every alternative option to ensure the safety and well-being of our county and the residents that live here. There are some municipalities out there that would gladly take this water and store it for us. Of course, for a fee, but they're willing to do that. Currently, there's no consensus on what to do with this water. All right, the experts don't agree. So I say, leave the wastewater where it is until we have a consensus on what to do with it. Why risk a problem 6 months from now, a year from now, 20 years from now, for the Hudson River and for the residents that live up and down the river? Thank you.
Anyone else? Legislator Savage.
So in 2017, Governor Cuomo announced that he would shut down Indian Point nuclear power plant that provided power for our whole region here. In May of 2021, the ownership of the plant was transferred to from Entergy to Holtec, an international company, Holtec International, to carry out the decommission process. Once we pass Indian Point to the our federal authorities, it's out of our hands. According to the press release from Attorney General Letitia James in April 2021 regarding this, the New York State Attorney General announced that her office has reached a provisional agreement with Holtec International and its subsidiaries regarding the decommissioning and cleanup of Indian Point nuclear power facility in the Lower Hudson Valley. The joint proposal, which is subject to approval by the New York State Public Service Commission, and it was subsequently approved, was negotiated by the State of New York, environmental organizations, Entergy, which is, and the current owner of Indian Point, Holtec. If approved by the by the PSC, the Public Service Commission, the agreement would transfer ownership to the nuclear power facility to Holtec, which would be responsible for the swift, complete, and safe decommissioning and remediation of the facility site. But that has taken place. That transfer of ownership has taken place with the blessing of Attorney General Letitia James. The Attorney General further stated, "We have worked hard to ensure that Indian Point is dismantled and cleaned up responsibly and safely. Once fully approved, this agreement will result in a safer, faster, and more thorough decommissioning process that exceeds stringent federal standards. We will continue to work diligently to see this closure through with an eye toward the safety of millions of New Yorkers. When ownership is transferred to Holtec for decommissioning, the federal government agency, which is called the U.S. Nuclear Commission, or the NRC, oversees the entire process. It is out of the purview of the state of New York. And unfortunately, we have no purview here. We have no authority. It's handed over to the federal government for oversight by the NRC and the EPA. Holtec, as the owner, remains accountable to the NRC until the decommissioning has been completed and the agency has terminated its license. What we're asking for here tonight is we're talking to the responsible parties and begging them to keep an eye out for our constituents. Just saying that we disagree, that we don't want it released, is not going to do anything. We're asking for action. We're asking for the U.S. Senate and the House of Representatives to obtain assurances that the relevant regulatory agencies will not permit any discharges of wastewater from Indian Point that will cause any environmental harm or pose a threat to health or safety for the Putnam County residents. We're asking for action. We're not just saying we're against it. Of course we're against it. No one's for it.
And say it.
We're all against it. There are other alternatives. What are they? Evaporation, if we're putting in a holding tank, evaporation causes more concentrated release. And if breathed in, it's more toxic than the release of water. What about trucking it? We're talking about fossil fuels. We're talking about risk accidental spillage. How much would it cost to truck radioactive water across the country for treatment? I'm not sure about the alternatives and the environmental impacts, which would be more detrimental. But that's for the NRC, that's for our federal regulators, that's for our elected federal representatives to ensure that there are no other alternatives. I've written a letter to Congressman Lawler, Senator Schumer, Senator Gillibrand to give us assurances that there will not be any environmental or health impact on our Putnam County residents. And that's what this resolution is asking for, assurances from our elected legislators who are in charge of the federal NRC and the EPA.
Legislator Crowley.
I did vote for this resolution, but in my heart, I believe that when they decided, they being our governor, decided to decommission the plant, and it was turned over to Holtec. Their responsibility to decommission the plant is to decommission it entirely, from the water and everything else that's in that plant. And I don't care how much it costs them to truck it. If that's the proper solution from here to California, they need to figure out the best way to get it done for the safety of the people that are along the Hudson River, who live off the Hudson River, who eat out of the Hudson River. And it is out of our purview, unfortunately, but we need to continue to contact and hold our representatives accountable.
Anyone else? All in favor? Aye. I recognize Legislator Adamizio for the Economic Development and Energy Committee.
Thank you, Chairman Yawkey. We have before us this evening a resolution asking Governor Hochul and the New York State Public Service Commission to dismiss NYSEG's rate hike request and have NYSEG correct its billing problems before a rate hike is considered. NYSEG proposes to increase its electric delivery revenues by approximately $274 million, which is a 31% increase in base delivery revenues. The revenue increase would result in a rate increase of 34.9% for electricity service and 14.9% for gas service, which together would result in annual bill increases in the hundreds of dollars for the average residential customer. The County of Putnam calls on the Public Service Commission and Governor Hochul to dismiss the NYSEG rate increase request and protect the public interest by making sure that NYSEG corrects its billing practices and submits a proper detailed rate filing before a substantial rate hike is even considered. I know many of my constituents have contacted me regarding this, and many people that were paying $150 a month, it went up to $500 a month. And you know, many people on fixed incomes, you know, they have to decide whether to get their prescriptions, purchase food, or have heat in their house. So we implore the governor to think this through and help the people in New York State. Thank you.
Discussion. Legislator Gould.
Thank you, Chairman. The number of outages we all must deal with throughout the year and an increase in costs that we have received over the last several months is really kind of ridiculous. Many of the residents in Putnam County have complained that they can't afford to pay these bills. They have to make hard choices of what bill to pay, and it shouldn't be that way. I'm glad that we're sending this resolution to the governor, and I'll be supporting it, and I hope she does it. Thank you.
Anyone else? All in favor?
Aye.
Once again, I call on Legislator Adamizio. It is time for Rules, Enactments, and Intergovernmental Relations Committee.
Thank you, Chairman Yawkey. Before this evening is the approval of the Putnam Arts Council grants. March 7, 2023, the Putnam Arts Council reported on the Putnam County to the Putnam County Legislature, recommending the distribution of the Arts Link Community Regrant Program, formerly Putnam Arts Fund. It totals $13,993, which will be coming from Putnam County, and $30,800 from New York State Council on the Arts. The 2023 program will support 24 grants, and 14 will receive funding through Putnam County. We have a list here before us this evening. I won't go through every one of them, but it's all through Putnam County. Dance, music, visual arts, multimedia theater, literary arts. I just can't stress how important the arts are to our culture and community. The arts help cultures unite. It also increases self-awareness. It's also being used and can be used as a form of therapy, art therapy. I think artistic expression can help people to overcome depression, anxiety, and stress, and also build confidence. So I'm very supportive of this.
Discussion. Legislator Montgomery.
Thank you. As I stated at the committee meeting, I just wanted to point out, because I know the public doesn't always read the backup, they had a total request of $77,782, and they had an allocation of a little over $44,000. So just imagine all those organizations that didn't get grant funding. One thing we didn't mention tonight was how the arts in Putnam County is one of the major economic drivers in Putnam County. Statistics show the last time I did my research, I think they inject $6.1 million into our county. And you know, you can see by the requests that came before the Arts Council, and I'm sure it was very difficult for them to decide. And I really appreciate the board and their hard work. But $13,993 from the county with an $180 million budget, I think we could do a little better for our arts in Putnam County, for all they do for us. Thank you.
Anyone else? Legislator Goldman.
Thank you, Chairman. I'm glad to see Tompkins Corners Cultural Center from Putnam Valley on this list. Thank you.
Anyone else? All in favor?
Aye.
This time I call on Legislator Goldman for the Physical Services Committee.
Thank you again, Chairman. On behalf of the members of the Fiscal Services Committee, Legislator Castellano and Montgomery, I make a motion to move the following items. Item 60, approval to renew lease of a portion of Tilly Foster Farm for the Putnam Northern Westchester Board of Cooperative Education, which we all know as BOCES. Thank you.
Discussion. I'd like to just lead the discussion with this past week we were invited to attend a lunch at Tilly Foster that was put on by the BOCES program. It really was something when you see it with your own eyes, you see the value to our community and to our young people. The impact that the BOCES program has on our community. So I'm very happy to move this forward. Anyone else? Legislator Sage.
Yeah, I was at that luncheon. It was a breakfast where we got to see the students who participated in taking care of the animals. We got to meet the students who participated in the culinary program. I just like to read a couple of notes that the students left for us at the tables. What Tilly means to me. Tilly means seeing and interacting with the animals. It also means seeing and laughing with friends. Here is the best part of my day. Everyone here is friendly and caring. I really like seeing the animals. I also learned a lot of new things. Here's one more, if you'll indulge me. This is another student. Tilly Foster has been a huge stress reliever and taught so much about us and hands-on animal behavior. Tilly Foster was also blessed me with a great team of people to work with and learn with. It's allowed me to explore my animal care side and really grasp the concept of animal care, and what it is really about. Tilly Foster is a motivation that brightens up my day. I think it's important to have these programs in Putnam County, and especially if it takes the stress off, if they're learning and engaging. I think it's a good thing, and certainly in favor of continuing that.
Legislator Anunzio.
I also had the opportunity to attend the luncheon, and the students were so proud of their work. And it was very impressive, and I'm very proud to support BOCES this evening.
Anyone else? All in favor?
Aye.
Personnel Committee, on behalf of legislators Castellano, Nazareno, and myself, I will move forward item 6F. It's the approval for a fund transfer. It's the Office for Senior Resources reclassification. It's in the amount of $52,485 with a $2,700 fiscal impact this year. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Item 6G is the approval of a fund transfer for the District Attorney's Office. It's a reclassification. It's $80,314 is being moved with zero fiscal impact. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. I recognize Legislator Castellano, Chairman of the Audit and Administration Committee.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. On behalf of the legislators Elmer and Goulden, I'd like to bring forward the following. Item 6H is the approval of the budgetary amendment for the Commissioner of Finance, the year-end journal entry number 3. From time to time, the Commissioner of Finance comes in front of us to allocate some funds in the correct areas. We're basically correcting the books in the process. There is a fiscal impact from 2022 of $83,890, zero fiscal impact moving forward in 2023, but again, we're just correcting the books.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye. Item 6I is the approval of fund transfer for risk manager, Putnam Golf and Tilly's Table, an increase in insurance costs. This is going to be money moved out of general contingency in the amount of $15,877. And this is actually a good thing. This shows that Tilly Foster's is very active. There's a lot of things going on there. And because of that, the insurance premiums have to go up, be adjusted in the process. It's a great place. There's been evidence tonight by some of the comments just earlier. Phenomenal jewel in Putnam County, and I think this is the appropriate thing to do to continue with this great work.
It's in the amount of $15,877 with an impact for 2023 of $15,877. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Item 6J is the approval of budgetary transfer for the Sheriff's Department in vehicle leasing. We are moving a bunch of money around to move forward in the future with the possibility of leasing vehicles as opposed to buying them. This has been discussed in a couple of our committee meetings this month, the month of March, I should say. And it seems to be the right thing to do, given the economy, given what's going on, and it will save the Putnam County taxpayers money in the process and also provide better vehicles for the Sheriff's Department to operate, continue to serve the community. It is $550,301 that we're moving around, zero fiscal impact for 2023 and 24.
Discussion. Legislator Nazareno.
Yes, I will be supporting this as I did in the Protection Services Committee. This is a leasing program that will certainly prove to improve efficiencies and fiscal accountability.
Legislator Montgomery.
As I brought up in committee, and also I bring it up every time we do talk about cars, I hope that the county will move forward with considering electric vehicles. It's time that we start building infrastructure to manage a fleet of electric vehicles, and it's been 4 years of approval after approval for cars and, mention of electric vehicles, but absolutely no movement. So I will be supporting this. I know we're getting closer to actually talking about it, so I'm hoping that we can actually make something happen and build that infrastructure. Thank you.
I'd like to just recognize the sheriff First Sergeant Keith and our Director of Purchasing, John Tully, for doing a great job in creating a program that's going to ultimately saving taxpayers money in the long term, and it's going to give our deputies, I believe, a safer vehicle to ride in. You know, we're going to keep them in low miles, and I think for our own employees, this is a win. Any other discussion? Legislator Crowley?
I echo what you just said. I think it makes it it's safer, it's better for our county as a whole, the response time, and it's fiscally responsible too, because they're not having to waste precious time with a vehicle that may need assistance going to the county garage, switching them out back and forth. It really gives them an easier time at work to do what they do best. So, thank you.
Anyone else? All in favor?
Aye.
Item 6K is the approval of a local law to amend Chapter 41 of the Code of Putnam County entitled Deposits and Investment Policies. This also comes in front of us every once in a while from the Commissioner of Finance. This allocates the banks that we deposit money in, and it sets the maximum amount. We had a big discussion last month about one of the banks that we have is Signature Bank, but all the money was moved out of Signature Bank and covered into other accounts. So there's no impact to Putnam County taxpayers whatsoever. They've done a great job at that, and this in front of us is just to name the banks that money will be deposited in.
Discussion. Legislator Goldman.
Thank you, Chairman. I'd like to thank the Finance Department and the Commissioner, because when Signature Bank went down that 2 weeks ago, I believe it was, our Finance Department that morning was very aggressive, and they were able to remove all the money that we had in Signature over to a separate bank. So because of their fast-moving response, we were able to not have any losses. I want to thank them for doing that. Thank you.
Legislator Sage.
One of the comments that our Commissioner of Finance made at that particular meeting was, had it been his own money in this bank, he would have felt comfortable leaving his money in. But it's the taxpayers' money, and he didn't want to take any risk to taxpayer money. So he did the right thing and pulled the money out at no detriment to the taxpayers. So I really applaud him for being vigilant and watching over the taxpayers' investment.
All in favor?
Aye.
6L is the approval of the authorization to have the county auditor attend the Association of Local Government Auditors 2023 annual conference to be held virtually. This is just a resolution in front of us. The virtual conference will take place on May 8th to the 9th. This is an expenditure of $450 per person, and putting this forward to approve it. It's very important for our auditors to attend these meetings. I'm happy that it's a virtual meeting. Certainly, that's the way of the future, something we've learned through COVID, and it's a great opportunity to talk with other people who do the same work, and hopefully bring some great information back to Putnam County.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Item 7 is other business. We have item 7A, which is the approval. It's a request to Governor Hochul to restore funding for critically needed veteran service programs removed from the fiscal year 23-24 executive budget. This was proposed by Legislator Analizio. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Discussion. Legislator Analizio.
Thank you, Chairman Yonke. This was discussed at our Rules meeting in March with Carl Roby in attendance. We in Putnam County greatly appreciate and recognize the commitment and sacrifices made by our military service members and their families, and the pledges to continue to honor and support them for their contributions. Governor Hochul has proposed removing funding for 17 veterans programs, including $2.6 million in her fiscal year 2023 to 2024 executive budget proposal. This funding for these programs is of utmost importance to Putnam County veterans and their families. So we are asking Governor Hochul that we would like to continue to receive these supportive services in the upcoming fiscal year.
Thank you. Legislator Goldman.
Thank you, Chairman. The shell game that the governor plays yearly with our veterans is really kind of ridiculous. The men and women who join the military to fight for our country should not be played with. This is a very vital issue and a program that many of our residents who are veterans use in Putnam County, and I'll be supporting this, and I'm glad we're doing this. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other discussion? I'll just say that, and I say it seems like on an annual basis, it's really upsetting that our state government does not provide for the funding for the care that our veterans deserve. They deserve it. They fought for this country, and every year we have to fight. It's pulled out of the budget. At the last minute, it always seems like they find the money to restore the funding that they've left out. I don't know why they do it, but we find ourselves in that position every year. It's discouraging, it's disgraceful, but I will be supporting this as I do every year. Anyone else? Legislator Montgomery.
Thank you. I know you were wanting last word with that, and I called our governor's regional representative to this district, and I spoke to our state assembly members, staff, and I said, why does this happen every year? You know, it happened with previous governors, it's happening now, and it's really not all that. It's the governor takes this out to give the state representatives for those districts an opportunity to put it back in, and that's why you see it goes back in every year. So it is a shell game, but it's the governor's taking it on the cheek to give the opportunity to the state senators and the assembly members. And it's just, that's the way politics works. It's unfortunate, but as you see, it does go back in. And we should be communicating with our state representatives from our districts to make them understand what our veterans need. And I know we do that with Carl. Thank you, Carl.
Terrible way to do business.
It is.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Item 7B.
Other business? Is there still? Oh, okay.
Item 7B, I'd like to make a motion to put on the agenda item 7B, which is the approval, it's a request to accept a donation of a mine-resistant ambush-protected vehicle from Madison County Sheriff's Office. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Roll call vote, please.
Legislative, it's to put it on the
Oh,
Legislator Evans?
Yes.
Legislator Castellano?
Yes.
Legislator Crowell?
Yes.
Legislator Elder? Legislator Goldman?
Yes.
Legislator Montgomery?
yes.
Legislator Nasrina?
Yes.
Legislator Sage?
Yes.
Chairman Yako?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. We have a request from our sheriff. There's a vehicle that's located in Madison County that they're looking to donate. There are a number of counties that are interested in taking this vehicle, and that's why we're putting it on as other business tonight. We have another vehicle which is in disrepair. It's aged out, and this would be replacing that other vehicle. So with that, I'm going to open up for discussion.
Just a comment. If I may.
Yes.
Thank you. The sound of this sounds shocking, mine-resistant ambush-protected vehicle. And one would ask, why do we need such a thing in Putnam County? But if you read, which I know the public doesn't always like to read fine print, and for my district in particular, the use of this vehicle will be used for high water rescue. It can travel in all sorts of weather, but also has the advantage of multiple applications in addition to being used for the emergency response team. We see flooding more and more and more, and we need this kind of vehicle for a lot of the rescues.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Sheriff.
And this vehicle will, will protect our employees, will protect, it's for the safety of our community. It's an interesting looking vehicle, but we're really swapping an older vehicle for a newer vehicle. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye. We need a second to move.
Oh, I'm sorry. Seconded by Legislator Brown. Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Crossing the T's. Item number 8 is recognition of public on agenda items.
Excuse me, sir, opportunities for other business?
Sure. Do you have other business?
Yeah, I'd like to make a motion to discuss and approve a resolution in support of New York State Senate Bill A5338 opposing the discharge of contaminated water into the Hudson River.
Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, roll call vote to put on the agenda.
Legislator.
Should we have discussion first?
With
Oh, I'm
on
sorry.
the agenda. I just
Legislator Adnesio.
Yes.
Legislator Castellano.
Yes.
Legislator Crowley.
Yes.
Legislator Elmer. Legislator Gould.
Yes.
Legislator Montgomery.
Yes.
Legislator Masserino.
Yes.
Legislator Sage.
Yes.
Chairman Yako.
Yes.
Motion carried.
If I may, thank you. So we just passed a resolution to send, which Legislator Goldman and I agree does not hold enough weight to prevent Holtec from discharging the water. I know we can't make the federal government do anything. Listen, we try to do these academic exercises to let them know how we feel. That's what we do. That's all we can do. And this bill, this resolution says just that. It says don't discharge the contaminated water into the Hudson River. This resolution, which you all had copies of, I can pass them out again, but then we have to go through that. But you do all have copies of that. I've sent it to you in the past. Mirrors the Westchester County resolution. If I may, can I provide the additional? I'll make a motion to
I would
provide the additional.
I would appreciate that. I'd love to read it.
I make a motion to provide the additional. Is that acceptable?
Yeah, second it. All in favor?
I can pass that around. So this resolution that's being passed out right now is the same resolution that Westchester County passed. After our lengthy committee meeting where we did move the other resolution forward, since then we've received numerous emails from constituents asking for us to pass a resolution like this, and we also received resolutions passed by other counties that does just this. And I will spare you because you have it in front of you. If anybody wants to read it, I can send it to you, but it basically says the decommissioning has announced its intention to release radioactive wastewater from the on-site fuel pools into the Hudson River. There have never been specific reporting of the radionuclide contents of this water, which is heavily contaminated from the storage of nuclear fuel waste. And whereas pre-release filtration to remove these isotopes has been presented as a solution to reduce the content of these carcinogenic contaminants to a level as low as reasonably achievable, the National Academy of Sciences has indicated there is no verifiable safe level to these isotopes when they are ingested or inhaled. So there's more to this resolution. We've all done extensive work and research on this. I would like my colleagues to pass this resolution that says, be it resolved that the clerk of the board of the legislatures is directed to send a copy of this resolution to the Putnam County federal and state delegations and the Federal Nuclear Regulatory Committee and State Nuclear Regulatory Committee and New York State Department of Environmental Conservation.
Discussion. I just have a question. Why didn't you move to amend the original resolution?
because I wanted to do it this way as its own, you know, out of respect for legislator Sage's resolution. That's fine, we can do that, but we can do this too. There's no harm in doing this either.
Discussion. Legislator Goldman.
Thank you, Chairman. I really do oppose discharge of the wastewater in the Hudson River. I don't think it's the right thing to do, and you know, to put this wastewater in the Hudson River, it could be a problem in the future. We have no idea. Until there's consensus amongst the experts, if there's never consensus, leave it where it is. But until there's consensus on what to do with it, leave it to where it is. Like I mentioned before, there are municipalities out there, out in the west, that will gladly take this water. Why don't we give it to them? Don't put it in the Hudson River. So I'll support this because I really don't want discharge of this stuff into the Hudson River.
Legislator Amnesia.
I don't think any of us want it to be discharged into Hudson River. That's what we've been saying all along. And we're saying that they're not going to listen to us anyway. So I'm a little confused, though, you know, bringing this forward now when we just passed that resolution.
Yeah, I don't know.
How do we negate that resolution and, you know?
I don't know what message you're sending. Legislator Astorino.
I feel the same way. We just passed our resolution. Whether or not our elected officials listen to us remains to be seen, no matter what resolution we move forward with and send up. The fact is, we all feel the same way. Our message is very clear. Legislator Sage made very valid points. You know, trucking this fossil fuels across the county could have, across the country rather, could have a devastating and adverse effect as well. So that might not be the proper solution or option, but I will be supporting our county resolution.
Legislator Castellano.
It's a really, really interesting topic. Certainly, it does sound like we should not put it into the Hudson River. But one of the most interesting days we've had in the legislature over the last 11 years was our tour of Indian Point, which was a phenomenal learning experience. Walking around the entire facility, you know, you think of the movies and everybody walking around in radioactive material, you know, but we just walked right around the pool. The pool wasn't that large. They managed it really well over all these years. I know the people that work in that facility took great pride in the fact that they ran an incredible facility. Personally, I wish it did not close, but that's for us to discuss tonight. But as you can see, the increases in the rates of NICEAG is directly related to the fact that we closed Indian Point. They also talked about nuclear waste being stored in that facility. They said they couldn't transport it on the federal highway system because Congress denied them the opportunity to do so. There's a whole lot to this thing, and my concern tonight would be, I don't think the people in Montrose or Buchanan, that area over there, would like to keep that material within a building that's not being operated like it was in the past. I don't know if dumping into the Hudson River, confidence is not high with the federal government today, for sure. There's a lot of terrible things that have been going on, and I wish we can have more confidence in them to do the right thing. I don't think I have the ability to make that decision. It sounds to me like, well, I'll wait for the federal government to tell us how they're going to deactivate the whole building, because I do think the waste that's on that property, now that the building has been decommissioned, needs to be removed. It's in Westchester County. I can appreciate the legislators in Westchester making that request not to dump it into the Hudson River. And I'm certain that if they do choose that route, they will do it in the best way. And I hope the federal government does the right thing. If they can transport it to Nevada or wherever they want to transport it to, that's fine. But again, I remember back, I know Legislator Estorino, Legislator Goldman was with me that day. We walked around the building, and I had incredible confidence in the people that work there that they'll do the right thing. And I hope the federal government does as well.
I just have a question. I'm just a little confused as to why this resolution is going to supersede our resolution. So if someone can explain that, which is in essence what we're doing.
Can I explain it? Like,
Speaking to the chair.
Yeah, as I said before, I don't know what message we're sending here. We voted on the resolution, we passed it. I think the appropriate thing at that time would have been to present an amendment to the resolution. We've had it in committee, we've had it here tonight.
well, you denied it during committee.
I'm sorry?
They denied it during committee. They wouldn't accept this resolution to be discussed during committee.
Okay.
If I may.
Was this presented at the committee?
Yeah.
I don't recall reading this.
I made a request for the committee to put it on the agenda.
But you didn't mention it during the committee meeting.
I did mention it during the committee meeting. I read it during the committee meeting.
You read this during the
I read this during the committee meeting. If I may.
Sure.
Thank you. So to clarify or answer legislator Nassarino's, we passed a resolution that asks for the safe handling of this material. The resolution that we passed says safe handling, go ahead, discharge it into the Hudson River as long as it's safe. This resolution that I propose says do not discharge the water into the Hudson River. We can pass a resolution that says please handle this material safely. We can pass another resolution that says don't dump it into the Hudson.
Any other discussion?
I did read into the record at a health committee meeting, Assemblywoman Dana Levenberg's letter speaking of her bill and co-sponsored by Senator Pete Harcum. I read her letter. I did not recall receiving any additional to accept their resolution.
You wouldn't
However,
accept it. I asked for it. You wouldn't accept it.
Please don't.
The health committee chair
Please
wouldn't accept
don't
it.
interrupt her.
I do have a few comments about their particular bill. I did speak with, well, some experts as well as our fellow legislator who is an expert in wastewater. And I've spoken with our federal and state representatives. This particular bill is not going to do anything for the Hudson River because it's not going to affect current contracts or previous contracts. So this is a moot point for the Hudson River for the resolution that we're talking about. It's not going to do anything for the Hudson River. In fact, in the future, it will essentially shut down all nuclear power plants in the state of New York because they have to release water. It'll shut down hospitals who have X-ray or chemo machines because they have to release water and they use radiation. Just to give you an idea, mammogram releases radiation, spinal X-ray releases radiation, a CT scan releases radiation. These are all parts of our lives. The Holtec permit from the federal government will allow 3 millisieverts of radiation per year to be released. 3 millisieverts. Holtec plans to release 1% of that amount each year, which if you do the math equals 0.03 millisieverts per year. And just as I pointed out during the committee meeting, my annual mammogram has 0.4, which is more radiation than they're planning to release each year. The city of Poughkeepsie processes 11 million gallons of water per day from the Hudson River. Holtec is going to release 1 million gallons of water over the next 12 years with less radiation than my annual mammogram. So the fact this resolution doesn't even affect Hudson River at this point, and the fact that it's going to shut down hospitals and all nuclear power in the state of New York, I don't think I'm in favor of that. And I can probably guarantee you that the governor will also veto it. So I'm comfortable with our resolution here. I don't think this one should supersede our resolution. And if I were to pass something, I have to do a lot more research on their bill. But that's my research into it so far.
I'd just like to ask the Legislative Council, just structurally, how does this work?
Through the chair, structurally, if this resolution is passed, it would be sent to the state and the federal delegates per its resolved clause, but the prior resolution that was also passed would get sent to the federal delegation, Putnam's federal delegation, so you'd have two resolutions moving forward. But while I have been asked about this, it appears, based on my understanding of the bill as well as Legislator Sage's comments, that the last whereas clause is factually incorrect, because it would not, the bill that's being proposed would not ban the release of radioactive waste. The state has no power to ban the discharge of radioactive waste because it's the sole jurisdiction of the federal government. So you have a factual inaccuracy in both the whereas and the resolve that enacts it, because it's not going to stop the discharge.
Yes.
Like many of our resolutions that are presented, that often need to be edited because they're inaccurate or incorrect or have spelling errors, we can edit this one as well.
Can I edit the bill?
You make a motion to amend it?
Sure. Do you want to just take that clause out? Prohibit and add prohibit the discharge of wastewater from Indian Point into the Hudson.
Can you be very specific and clear what paragraph you're on and what you're removing?
We could just take out the Putnam County Board of Legislators support Senator Harkin's and Assemblywoman Levenberg's legislation. You could just take that out.
Second paragraph from the end. Second to last paragraph.
Should this be done in committee?
Yeah, why don't we just bring this to the committee?
I did. We denied.
I've never seen this before.
I don't recall seeing it either. Sorry.
I'll
Okay, any other discussion? You made a motion to amend. Do we have a second? Let me ask that. Okay. So we have with no second, we have a motion in front of us. Roll call vote, please.
Legislator Agnazio.
Well, because of the inaccuracy, I can't vote in favor, so no.
Legislator Castellano.
No.
Legislator Crowley.
No. You're going to rely on Legislator Sage.
Legislator Elder. Legislator Gould.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
Legislator Gould.
Yes, I'm sorry.
Legislator Montgomery.
Yes.
Legislator Nasarino.
No.
Legislator Sage. No. Legislator, Chairman Young.
No.
Motion fails.
Thank you. Item number 8 is recognition of public on agenda items. If you'd like to speak on any of our agenda items, please come to the microphone, state your name and the town that you're from.
Hi, Paula Claire, and I'm from Garrison. I was glad to see that the legislature did draft a resolution addressing the potential dumping of radioactive water that has cooled the highly radioactive spent fuel rods. That's where they had the spent fuel rods from Indian Point. And although I think it's a good idea to ask our elected officials to advocate on our behalf, I had hoped that the resolution would clearly spell out Putnam County's opposition to the dumping. I didn't see that in the resolution. I've compared Putnam County's draft to the resolutions passed by Westchester County and Rockland County. By the way, have you seen the Rockland County resolution? Because I brought copies for you. It's quite emphatic in its opposition. Just want to say something. Tritium is carcinogenic, and tritium cannot be filtered from water because it's when tritium and oxygen combine, it makes tritiated water, and according to the NRC, it's chemically indistinguishable from regular water, so you can't filter it out. So you're going to have carcinogenic material in the Hudson. I mean, I understand that there's a lot of water in the Hudson, but still, you're going to have carcinogenic material going into the Hudson. And the Hudson River flows both ways, north and south, and south to north. So it's going to affect us. The other problem here is that the Hudson River water can leach into soil and into air and into water, and including well water. So that can be a major health problem. It can increase the cancer rates in our area. So I think that this is a very important issue. It's not a political issue, it's a health and safety issue. And I think, and I also wanted to tell you about something else I discovered. Holtec also is the decommissioning agent for the Pilgrim Center in Massachusetts, and they also want to dump 1.1 million gallons of this water into Cape Cod Bay. I don't know if you knew that. And the residents in Cape Cod and the area around it are up in arms. And the EPA weighed in. And what the EPA said was that that it is illegal for Holtec to dump this with its current permit. And I assume it's the same thing with this permit with us. And it's punishable by fines, imprisonment, or both. And so they're telling Holtec they cannot do the dumping there. I think we should be going to EPA and asking for the same for us, because we should ask for no less than they do. Let's see. Yeah. Okay, I think basically those are my major points that I wanted to make. And I do have the Rockland County resolutions for you to view. And I feel strongly that, Rockland County, at least my town, we're environmentally sensitive, and we take pride in taking, the measures that protect our citizens. And I think Putnam County is generally the same. I don't think that we are doing enough with the current resolution. I think that you should consider amending the resolution to some of the stronger points that are mentioned in these other two resolutions. And I think you should make it clear that you're opposing the dumping of the radioactive water from Indian Point, because this could be a really tragic problem for our area. Also, you think about people who are going to do fishing and who are going to do boating in the Hudson. I don't think, if I were somebody who's going to do boating and they've dumped this radioactive material, I don't think I would feel safe in doing that. So anyway, I'm hoping that maybe you might consider adding some stronger language to the resolution, which I think is, fine. As I like the fact that you're advocating. That you're asking our legislators to advocate for us, because they should. But I think we need to say more. And I'll leave the copies of the Rockland County resolution for you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Carl. Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah. So my name is Jim Wise. I'm a parent here in Carmel. I have 2 kids at George Fisher, one in Kent Primary, as well as kids who have gone through the high school over the years. And I'm here to talk about the agenda items we have tonight with the transfer of funding to the DA's office, also approval of the funding to receive transfer of the vehicle for the sheriff's office. Now, in our American system of checks and balances, you guys have a very important role. You guys have the power of oversight over many of the executive functions of local government. And that power of the purse is the most important oversight. So I know parents came and spoke to you, spoke to the Public Safety Commission when it met. And I also want to talk tonight about an issue that involves both of those departments. Now we've seen, as a parent of George Fisher, I've gotten used to my phone ringing at 5 a.m. and saying that there were threats against the school. I'm used to getting a letter at 4 p.m. saying, yeah, students said they were going to shoot up the school and they got arrested.
Sir?
Yep.
Our agenda items for the DA's office were a personnel matter. Was it
I'm aware.
change of, and,
I'm aware. And this is, what I'm asking is that...
And the sheriff's agenda item was a piece of equipment.
Very aware.
You're not speaking to an agenda item. We will be entertaining, or we will be discussing school safety on April 17th at our protective service meeting. But this discussion right now is
I understand,
not,
but as what I'm asking is, when asked for funding by the DA's office, you have the power, a unique power in our system, to ask for something in return. There's been a really shocking lack of transparency from the DA's office on this matter of school safety, and in particular on the threats.
This is not appropriate. It's not an agenda item, and it's not appropriate. And we will, if that's something you really, we're going to be talking about school safety, and your issue seems to be school safety.
Yep.
I think the appropriate venue for that would be the protective service meeting, and I believe that will be an agenda item.
We'll be there, and that's important, but I would, I'll ask, and I'll yield the floor, I apologize. But I would ask that between now and that meeting, it's really important that you guys understand the depth of the lack of transparency here. Do your own research. You guys have an in, because you have this power of the purse that we don't have. What, make sure you've seen the videos. Make sure you come into that meeting knowing exactly what these perpetrators said they would do to our children.
If you'd like to send us some correspondence for us to go over before the meeting, I think that's perfectly...
We have it, and we'll continue to, yes.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Carl.
Just Carl Roddy, Director of Veteran Service, Putnam County. I thank you for passing that resolution to go up to the governor about those cuts. And I wish you would, because it troubled me a lot when, and I was told this by one of our other assembly members, that this is just there to get some work for the other legislators, the senators and assemblymen, to get items on budget. If there are veterans items that any governor has in a budget, they should be left alone. We have other things that we have to lobby about and not waste our energy on things that they're going to play games with. And I'm very resentful of that. And I think any veteran that heard that this is just how it's done. That's not how it's done. There are very, very important issues that we have to work on that if we had the opportunity, we would be working on trying to get these budget items that were in the budget. I'll give you one example for the Dwyer Vet-to-Vet program. We'd be working this year on getting a cost of living approval. The Dwyer program is almost 10 years old, and we have never had an increase in the funding for the Dwyer program. We would have worked on that if we didn't have to work on this almost $10 million that the governor's cuts. So it's not the right way to do it. Leave those in and let us work on real issues for veterans. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Hi, good evening. And I'd like to speak to the issues that were brought up in regards to child abuse and the mental health aspect. And I'm going to relate this.
Your name and tag, please.
Thank you. My name is Linda Harris, and I am from Kent. And what I'm doing tonight is I'm requesting that the legislators, all of you tonight, would walk in the shoes of abused school children. Daily, they sustain derogatory verbal attacks. Now they're being targeted by racists threatening murder. Your lack of concern is disturbing and says quite a lot. I say lack of concern because, unfortunately, the body of this legislator has never condemned in public these acts of terrorism. Your actions tell me that you're too far removed to understand the impact, hurt, and paralyzing pain these hateful words have. I have taken the time to present you with just a few derogatory words and stereotypes.
Ms.
You
Harris,
can explore
Ms.
with
Harris,
one another.
We had proclamations, all right? This is now relative to an agenda item that was
Okay.
written.
All right, well,
And-
you know,
and
I'm going to...
if you do have something that you'd like to verbalize, you should do it at the protective service meeting.
I will.
This is not the appropriate time or the venue.
Well, I can hand these out. I will not speak any
Absolutely.
further about it, but
Absolutely.
I would just ask you to use this as an exercise between yourselves with these words that I have on here. And they're very derogatory, and they encompass Irish, Italian, Arab, let's see, Jewish, German, Scottish. Okay, so I will leave a copy with you. Thank you.
Thank you. Linda, if you could just put it on the podium and we'll grab it.
Okay.
Thank you so much. Any other member of the public wishing to speak? On agenda items.
Abigail Santana, Carmel. It goes back to child abuse. You guys have it on the agenda.
It's not, it's a proclamation. We're showing our support for the agencies.
Can I just say, you want us to wait until the 17th to bring this up?
Well, this is not the appropriate place.
That would be 9 weeks. You guys haven't mentioned anything. It's been 9 weeks that our children were victims
Well, I
of a
certainly did.
racist rant. You're going to wait 9, this is making 7
but it was
weeks.
brought to our attention at the committee.
It was brought to your attention before because I personally called the county exec.
Okay, but this is not the place.
Why is it not the place?
This is not the time and the place. If you'd like to talk about it, wait till we go on committee.
You guys never want to talk about it. Why are we oblivious to our children being literally targeted because of the color of their skin? Why is this not the time or the place? My child cries because she has to go to school. Why is this not? You are the legislators. Next week will be 9 weeks since this has happened. Not one letter, one email, one phone call from the people. Remember you said, oh, we elect the federal elect legislators and you're upset about what's going on there? Guess how I feel. We elected you to sit here. It's going on 9 weeks that our children were victims.
Comments were made at the last committee.
And then nothing was brought, and then
please.
you had this committee, this legislating meeting, and it's still not brought up, and you knew last week. And you knew before that because I've been contacting people.
School safety
So let's not say you did not know.
Ma'am, I'm not
Who's seen the videos, because I know it was sent last week.
This is not the appropriate time, it's not the
When
appropriate
is it the
place.
appropriate time or place? This is
At
what
the
we're asking
committee.
you guys. When
At
is
the-
it?
I just
When
told
is
you.
it?
If
Do
it's
you
not-
have a black child in the school system? Do you? I'm asking a question. When is it? If it was your child, when is it the appropriate time and place?
Wait a second.
When is it?
This is out of line.
It's not out of line. I'm
Okay,
trying
all
to
right.
sorry. It's out of
We'll
line.
discuss
It's
it.
going on 9 weeks next week.
Through the
So I'm trying
chair.
to figure out when
yes.
is appropriate
Through
time
the
and
chair.
place.
This is not an agenda item. Please respect our process.
Respect your
this is-
process. We
yes.
elected you, and our
No.
children are not on your
No.
agenda. Our children are not on your
There's no
agenda.
dialogue at this
Our
point in time.
tax-paying dollars
It's
pay
all
you
out of
guys,
order.
and that's not on
Thank
your
you.
agenda.
Thank you.
Order.
Thank
Our
you.
process is not to engage in dialogue. and
But
our
you're
process is
engaging.
to
So
only-
you can sit there and just listen, I can just read.
I am commenting. And
I see where you stand. I see
You're
why
being
this
disruptive
community
and
is how
really
it
not
is.
making
I
any
see
sense.
why this community how it is. Not
see
one of you
anything.
care
You
about
see
our
what you
kids.
wanna see.
I see
When
it.
you come to
I see
protective
it.
services
I
meeting,
see it.
I'm not going to
I
engage in
see it.
dialogue.
You're arguing with me. I said I see it. I see it.
No,
I
we're
see
going to
where
move
the
on to
community is. I see where they get it from.
This is
I
not
see it.
recognition
God
of
wishes.
legislators. Recognition of legislators. Anybody wishing to speak?
I wish to speak. I welcome anyone who wishes to speak at the April 17th Protective Services meeting. Your voices will be heard. That is the appropriate menu. We will not have our meeting get out of control, we ask that you respect our process and follow our rules. And that's how it's going to roll. I'll tell you that from now. And that does not mean that there is anybody who's alluding to that we don't support you and we don't support denouncing racism is just spinning it in a false narrative. So your opportunity to be heard and your opportunity to collaborate with this legislature and to hear your comments will be welcome, and we will discuss it at that time. On a more positive note, I wish everyone a happy Passover and a happy Easter.
Anyone else? Legislator Montgomery.
Yes, I'd just like to clarify for Mr. Rhodey my comments about the vets issue, and I too was baffled by this, and I've been baffled by it every year, as I said, and my point of clarification is I had to do the work to figure out what was going on, and I did that by calling the governor's office to get to the bottom of it, and I also called my state legislators to find out what they were doing about it. They are in turn providing me with the information that they're going to put forward or that they have put forward in the budget so we can see how it balances out. Because I am concerned about this. I'm concerned about it every year. It's not that I'm not concerned, and I think that's just the way it's done, and that's okay. It's not okay, and that's why I made the call. It is Earth Day in April. Again, I would implore my legislators to reconsider making the call to prevent Holtec from dumping wastewater into the Hudson. We've spent so much time and money and effort and years cleaning up the Hudson, and we're not making a strong enough statement to prevent this. Happy Earth Day.
Right. Anyone else? Legislator Goldman.
Thank you, Chairman. This past Thursday, there was a lockdown in the schools in Putnam Valley because of an active shooter. Apparently, there were several calls targeting several New York State schools, and Putnam Valley was part of it. There was no shooter, and everyone was safe and secure. I would like to thank the Putnam County Sheriff and the Putnam County Sheriff Department for responding quickly and dispatching extra patrols when they were needed for the safety of the students and for the faculty. I am very confident, because of the response that happened on Thursday, that if there was a situation like that anywhere in the county, it would be done quickly and it would end very quickly. Thank you for a job well done, gentlemen. I'd also like to raise awareness that as I go around our community, throughout Putnam County, I'm seeing more and more garbage on the sides of the roads. We should all keep our environment clean. We should all understand the total cost of littering. It pollutes the environment, it affects and kills wildlife everywhere. It also affects the aesthetic look of our community. We live in a beautiful community. We all are the individuals that are throwing this stuff out of our windows in our cars. Please stop that. I encourage everyone to get involved and make Putnam Valley a cleaner, greener place that we all call home. This past month in Putnam Valley, we celebrated Florence Clifton. She celebrated her 105th birthday. Happy birthday, Florence. Putnam Valley Volunteer Ambulance Corps is looking for new members. If you live or work in Putnam Valley and you would like to help and participate, please reach out to the Ambulance Corps. They can really use your help at the moment. The DEC annual spring seedling sale is open. This is a great opportunity to purchase affordable New York State grown free shrubs and tree seedlings for conservation purposes, for private lands and for public lands. The DEC Tree Nursery grows more than 50 locally sourced seeds. The sale is open until May 12th, so order early so you can get the species that you're looking for. Just go on the DEC website and it's right there. It's a great opportunity, so please take advantage of it. Thank you.
Legislator Crowley.
On Saturday, the VFW celebrated our oldest World War II veteran's birthday, Jimmy DiPolisi, and I just want to bring that to everyone's attention. We're so thankful to have him with us. He is a great member of our community. He is out in the snow, rain, doesn't matter, and he is a wonderful gentleman, and I thank him for his service, and I can't wait to celebrate his next birthday with him. So. 97.
Anyone else? I'd just like to make a comment. When it came to the Carmel School incident, I did not know, I did not see any of the TikTok videos at the time of the last Protective Service meeting. I was told that somebody was going to send it to me. I did say at that time what was described was disgusting, it was deplorable. Since that time, the person who told me they were going to send it didn't send me the videos, but I did get access to them. All right, they are disgraceful. They're disgusting. They're not to be tolerated in Putnam County. All right, we are addressing it. We're moving forward. We will be discussing it this month to keep our schools safe. It was not an agenda item tonight, so I am sorry that if you sat here all night to make your statement and couldn't do it, those are our rules. And I hope you respect them, and I hope you respect that we will be addressing it. With that, I'm going to make a motion to close. Do I have a second? Second. All in favor? Aye.